guys, I promised you all a vlog because I didn't want this channel to be monotonous, and voila! You know, when I first started thinking of this vlog, I asked myself, Mayowa, what do you want to talk about? Because guys, I'm a proper introvert, and I even sometimes call myself I call myself a part-time introvert. And aside fashion designing, the only other thing I do is read. And guys, I'm not trying to brag, but I did a number of like 53 books last year. And lest I forget, I also have a blog where I write about my experiences about being introverted and my some of my personal philosophical thoughts. So guys, I'm a bit multifaceted, but that's not why we are here, guys. We are here because of fashion and designing. And today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my opinions or my thoughts, what I think about the popular what I ordered versus what I got situation. Whose fault is it? Why does it always happen? And ways you can avoid it. Honestly and truthfully, in my opinion, I think it comes out of miscommunication between the designer and the clients. Let me share one of my experiences with you. So I had this client once. She came to me, we're chatting online, blah blah blah, and then she was like, okay, she wanted to make an ashwebi dress. So she sent me a picture of the upper part she wanted and a picture of the lower part she wanted, and then the picture of the lower part she wanted wasn't exactly very clear. So I'm like, okay, I can't really tell what this person did on this lower part. So I asked her, okay, what do you want? Do you want the lower part to be straight, pencil, mermaid, whichever, 6 pieces, which one do you want? She was like, okay, I want it straight. I'm like, okay. And then she was like, oh, even as it's straight, I don't want a slit at the back of the dress. And I'm like, okay, you don't want a slit at the back of your dress, so how do you want to walk? You won't be able to walk wherever you are because it won't be like really comfortable. So I'm like, if you don't want a slit at the back of this dress, that means we would have to like include a vent at the back. That is where the slit is meant to be. We'll put a vent or a godet or a cone. So she was like, no, I don't want any of that. I want the back closed and I want it straight. And then I was like, okay, since that's what you want, that's what we're going to do. And obviously I wouldn't be able to make the dress like a really penciled, pegged lower part, so I just did like a straight lower part for her and did the upper part she wanted. When she got the dress, when we delivered the dress, she was complaining. She was like, oh, you didn't, this dress is not fitted at all, it's not this, it's not that. I'm like, okay, this is not my fault. You already told me that you didn't want a slit, you want it straight, I think sometimes clients don't know exactly what their dress would look like when they start like talking about I want this, I want that. And it's the job of the designer to say, oh, all of these things you mentioned, if this is how your dress will look at the end of the day, because you're already deviating from the original design, that is the original style you sent to me. So really, what's going to happen? It's not going to be fitted, it's going to be like a free dress. So yeah, that's my own experience of what I ordered and what I got. So in most cases, it's usually miscommunication. So sometimes it's the fault of the client and sometimes it's the fault of the designer. Now when it comes to it being the fault of the designer, one thing I know people do again is that, see, the client sends them a design and they know within themselves that I can't really make this. I don't know what they did, or I don't know how this design came to be. But they will not tell the clients that, I'm sorry, I don't know how to make this, because of that fear that, okay, I don't want them to think I'm inexperienced or somebody that doesn't know like this job very well. So it comes out of that fear. They don't want people to like label them, oh, she's still an amateur, she's not like really experienced and all of that. So they collect the design, they collect the fabric, and at the end of the day, we all know what's going to happen. It's never going to look like what the client wants. So I would like us to please be honest with ourselves. When you know that you can't like really make the design somebody sends to you, there's no harm in saying you don't know how to, because we all don't know everything. I don't think anybody in this world knows everything. We are all learning every day. I learn every day, you learn every day. There are things that I know that you don't know. There are some things that you know that I don't even know. So there's no, I don't think there's any it's like a cause of alarm to say that, oh, you don't know how to make that design. So when the client leaves you and goes to somebody else, you can always practice that design on your own, and when you feel like, oh, you're comfortable with making it, like you actually know how that thing came to be, when somebody else comes, you know, you won't say, oh, I don't know how to make this again, because you already know. It's different from when somebody brought it newly and you want to use that person's fabric to practice. It's not going to turn out right. Or even if you feel like, okay, that excuse, you don't feel like, you don't like saying, oh, you don't know how to do something, maybe you just like look for another excuse, or maybe you can say you're busy or something, so the person can move the fabric. If you don't want to, like, if you don't want the person to think you are inexperienced when you say, oh, I don't know how to make this, you can just come up with another excuse, so to avoid stories that touch. One way I know you can avoid this, especially when it comes to like big designs, is to always let the client know that you can't recreate that design to the last detail, because obviously you're bringing me a $2,000 dress, a $2,000 design that you saw and screenshotted online, and you want me to make it for like say 30 to 40k. Obviously it's not going to look exactly the same way. So what I'm going to tell you is that, oh, alright, this design is perfect, is nice, but it's not going to look exactly to the last detail, because I wasn't there when they made that design. So sometimes I can make a design and I'll hide everything. You won't be able to get, some people might not, maybe you might be able to, but some people might not be able to get how I arrived at that design. Because if you don't know me personally and ask me, oh Mayowa, how did you do this, how did you come about this, you won't know exactly what I did. So it's also the same way with some designs people save online. You don't know exactly how they arrived at whatever it is they arrived at. So you create your own version, a version that is also going to look really, 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 really nice, and nobody is going to think you're trying to copy the other like big expensive design. So what we'll do is to go according to our own budget, to create our own downsized version, but it's not going to look exactly like a copy. The person is not going to, an outsider, like a stranger, is not going to look at the two designs and say, oh, this person is trying to copy this person, and then she has already made something that doesn't even look at all remotely like this big designer's dress they are trying to make. So it's always advisable to like let the person know that, okay, if you've brought this design, but we are going to create our own version of this design, so that we are not going to be comparing sides. But if it is like a design that you can really, really make, and then you know, if it's a design that the budget is is really high, is as high as what the person sends, and you can find the materials, or you know how to go about like making it look exactly the same way as the screenshotted version, why not go ahead with it? But if it's not, it's best you let the person know and then tell them it's advisable for you to create your own version, so as to avoid what I ordered versus what I got. And that's it on my vlog for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss the hot new tutorial I'm dropping next week. You can also check out these two tutorials right on top of your screen if you haven't yet seen them before. Happy viewing!